Hi everyone, I'm Laurel Marie Hickey. Welcome to What's Blank Got to Do With It. Today's What's Blank topic is benchmarks. So what's benchmarks got to do with it? So when I say benchmarks, I'm talking about performance benchmarks compared to your portfolio. So one of the key questions that I get super popular is how am I doing versus the market? And so really what's super important is that you have an understanding of what you own in your portfolio. So typically in the industry, there are 5 different asset allocation models that match the risk tolerance of the investors. They are number 1, income, number 2, conservative, number 3, balanced, number 4, growth, and number 5, maximum growth. So as an example, we'll go right in the middle there with a balanced profile. A balanced profile, we know that as 60-40 in our industry, which means that 60% is going to be in equities and 40% is going to be in fixed income. And there's all sorts of varieties of fixed income, just as there's all sorts of varieties of equities. So having an understanding of what you own is important. A few things that you might consider when you're looking at if you had a balanced portfolio or equity component, that would be a combination of Canadian, US, international, alternative. So if you were to look at the equity markets as an example, you'd be looking at, we talk about the TSX and we talk about NASDAQ and the S&P 500 as well as the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So those are equity benchmarks in North America. There are also benchmarks globally where you would look at the international side of your portfolio as an example. On the fixed income side, if you were to have 40%, 35 to 40% in fixed income, we have in our industry, we have bonds, preferred shares, convertible debentures. You have lots of choices on how to build a fixed income portfolio and lots of choices how to build an equity portfolio. So when you're comparing it, it can really be confusing. So the natural thing is to always compare it to an equity index of the country that you're domiciled in. If you have a very global, diversified portfolio, it isn't really a fair comparison though. So what you might consider doing is really spend a little bit of time understanding what your true allocation is of your portfolio and see if you can find a mutual fund that has a similar allocation. Same amount in equities, same amount in fixed income, and even a further breakdown of equities, what is in Canadian, US, international, and alternative. Same thing on the other side for fixed income. How much is in government bonds? How much is in corporate bonds? And you can see what the allocation is of preferred shares. I always think it's super important to have a conversation with your portfolio manager, with your advisor, your wealth advisor to determine what is your best comparison. Otherwise, you're always going to be comparing to something that you think is similar, but is not. And certainly you can see if your portfolio is performing different than the market, say the market is up or down a certain percentage for the day, and your portfolio is not, you know that there is a different allocation of your portfolio versus the market. So I hope you explained a little bit more about benchmarks. It's certainly not simple, but it is fascinating. I would say always have a great conversation with your trusted advisor to understand more about what it is that you own so that you can make empowered decisions going forward. Until next time, I'm Laurel Marie Hickey.